The day I ended up in the ER with a bleeding ulcer after hustling sponsors for the team, my boyfriend and captain, Ryan, was nowhere to be found. I dragged myself back to the base, only to hear my teammates joking around.
You're hanging out with that female caster again. What if Helena finds out? She's so tight with all those investors and big bops, she might just cut us off. Relax. I snap my fingers and she comes running, like a loyal dog. She's not going anywhere.
I waited by the door until they finished, then walked in with a smile, carrying late-night snacks.
Good work, everyone. Here's some extra fuel.
I acted as if I hadn't heard a thing. Then came the day we won the championship. In front of the whole world, he poured his heart out to the beautiful caster and he shot me a taunting grin from backstage. I looked at him, and for a moment I was lost. You look most like your brother when you win.
What did you just say to me?
I tilted my head and traced his features with my eyes. Nothing, just congratulations. I pretended not to notice Vivian beside him, my tone perfectly natural. Everyone's worked hard. The team has booked a hotel for the victory party. I reached out to touch the gold medal hanging on his chest.
What do you think you're doing?
I reached out to touch the gold medal hanging on his chest.
What do you think you're doing?
He pulled back instantly. Ryan clicked his tongue in annoyance. He turned, took off the medal, and draped it around Vivian's neck. Vivian cooed sweetly.
Here, have some fun with it. Looks good on you.
Thanks, Ryan. Helena, do you have— Under Ryan's watchful gaze, I stayed completely calm. You're pretty. It suits you. Go enjoy the party. Then she looked at me pitifully. For some reason, Ryan seemed dissatisfied with my response. His whole demeanor darkened. He brushed past me, shoving my shoulder. The celebration was loud and raucous. Ryan held Vivian close and danced intimately in the middle of the floor. I leaned in a corner with my drink, my eyes fixed on them without blinking. Whispers floated around me. People said I was staring at Ryan and Vivian, wondering if I'd flip a table. Others said I was too obsessed with him to do anything, afraid of getting dumped and crying alone. The gossip grew louder, how Ryan had never gone public with me, yet publicly confessed to Vivian. They mocked me for being older, saying I didn't hold a candle to Vivian standing next to Ryan. My expression didn't change. I probably looked like a love-struck fool whose world revolved only around Ryan. 5 years ago, 18-year-old Ryan was kicked out by his parents, who were against his gaming career. He meets with setbacks everywhere. I was the one who reached out to him. I pulled in investors, signed teammates, found a base, gave everything to build from scratch and lift him up. On his 20th birthday,
Thank you, Helena.
looking at that young, familiar face, I somehow leaned in and kissed him. So everyone, including Ryan, assumed I did all of it because I liked him. But maybe as his fame grew and temptations multiplied, or maybe gratitude had been mistaken for affection from the start. A year into our relationship, Ryan's attention started to wander. One day a model, the next an influencer. Real or fake scandals kept popping up, and I had to do damage control for every single one. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. When I came out, I saw Ryan standing on the terrace. His profile was tilted upward, drunk and hazy. I lingered a moment longer, almost seeing the boy who had once been sincere with me.
Bro, did you see me win?
I froze in my tracks. Everyone in the scene knew Ryan had an older brother. James, a pilot, 7 years older, gone for 6 years, still missing. Back then, only James and the whole family supported his dream. So Ryan pushed himself to succeed, not just to prove himself, but to fulfill his brother's wish. And the reason I went all out for Ryan, it wasn't because I admired or had feelings for that boy. It was because he was I truly loved, the one regret left behind. It wasn't because I admired or had feelings for that boy. It was because he was I truly loved, the one regret left behind. I've loved James since I was 18. He was a senior 2 years ahead of me in college. Freshman during fainted remilla training because I couldn't afford breakfast. James carried me to the infirmary. When a classmate falsely accused me of stealing and we argued in the hallway, James stepped in to help clear my name. When thugs harassed me off campus, James rescued me. He was that brilliant, perfect senior, the campus heartstrom. I always looked up to him and chased after him, but I was always one step too late. By the time I realized my feelings, he had already graduated and went to flight school. Then came the news that he had gone missing during a mission. I would never catch up to him. But then I turned around and saw Ryan. Ryan and his brother couldn't be more different in personality, but their faces were strikingly similar, especially the eyes. That cocky, triumphant look always reminded me of the man who forever stood on the podium. I stood there lost in thought for too long. Ryan noticed and looked over. He stared at me in silence for a moment, then walked straight towards me.
Why are you making that ugly face at me?
Truth be told, I had no idea what I looked like to him just then, but I never bothered to read his mind. Ryan's eyes were red-rimmed and glossy from the alcohol. I looked up and held his gaze, reluctant to look away. Maybe I'm just tired. Are you okay? Want to go rest now? Maybe I'm just tired. Are you okay? Want to go rest now? In the quiet, the distance between us shrank. I suddenly snapped back to reality and instinctively put a hand on his chest. Caught off guard by my rejection, Ryan froze for a second. A flash of embarrassed anger crossed his eyes, but then he let out a sneer.
What's this? Mad? Jealous?
Ryan relaxed even more.
Come on, I never even said Vivian was my girlfriend. I just said she was special and gave me a lot of support.
Ryan, let's break up. The words I'd been holding on to for so long finally found their moment. I only felt a wave of relief. As the last syllable left my lips, a weight lifted off me. Ryan's slouched posture straightened slowly, his tall ram suddenly imposing.
What did you say?
The drunken haze in his eyes seemed to clear. I sighed helplessly. It's fine if you call her your girlfriend. You two look cooked together. An official downquit would even bring commercial value. As to let's just call an Amiel Borshev. Ryan's face went blank. His features, slowly shedding their youth, looked more and more like his. But no matter how similar, I knew clearly, he was not him.
Helena, you're something else.
With that, he strode off, fury in his steps. 20 minutes later, I picked up my phone and saw a message from Ryan. Buy 2 boxes, room 2103. Buy 2 boxes, room 2103. I stared at the screen and felt a headache coming on. Then another message popped up. You bring them yourself, it read. I let out another breath of relief. Good. Looks like it wasn't meant for me. I stood outside 2103 and pressed the doorbell. A full 10 minutes passed before the door was yanked open. Ryan stood there wearing only his pants. I averted my eyes and held out the bag. When he didn't take it, I couldn't help adding, "Don't stay up too late. You have an interview tomorrow. And don't leave marks where they'll show. It's not a good look." Thanks. You're so dedicated. The door slammed shut so hard it might as well have hit my face. I didn't care. I just smoothed my hair. Back in my room, I opened my laptop. I spent the whole night organizing all my work from years of managing the team. The next morning at 10, my resignation landed in the club owner's inbox.
Helena, did you just send that? What's going on? The team just won, and you're leaving? Hey, this isn't about that kid Ryan, is it? Hey, this isn't about that kid Ryan, is it? He's only 21, still immature. Don't take him too seriously.
Victor, I've been planning to quit for a while. I've already found my replacement. Defending the title was my last wish. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's my decision. Tell the others later. No need to spoil their championship high.
Realizing there was no talking me out of it, Victor sighed and hung up.
After a nap, I saw a video of the team interview on my computer. Ryan was, unsurprisingly, the center of attention. After answering a few routine questions, he suddenly tugged at his team jersey. The neckline revealed faint suggestive marks on his throat. The sharp-eyed reporters naturally jumped on the gossip.
To satisfy our fans' curiosity, may I ask what's on Ryan's...
What happened to your hand?
A cat scratch.
But his eyes locked onto the camera without wavering. When the interview moved on, I finally snapped out of it and turned off the computer. Back at the base villa, it was completely empty. Everyone had rushed off to an island vacation. I took my time packing and wrapping up the last of my work handover. For 5 days straight, the team group chat went dead silent whenever I was online. Meanwhile, the members' daily streams were buzzing with activity. Determined to do my job until the very end, I watched the live stream every day.
3 showed up in the vacation crew. 1 minute she was sharing coconut straw with coconuts 4. The next she was feeding him ice cream. 3 also posted seafood photos on social media. The caption read, "The champion's fingers peeling shrimp for me, hey hey." Even when we were on good terms, Ryan had never peeled anything for me. He expected me to serve him, and I was just afraid of hurting those precious hands. I wouldn't even let him carry anything heavy. Turns out, he just hadn't met someone he truly wanted to spoil. I looked at what was on my phone for a few seconds, then scrolled past like it was nothing. Then, on the morning of the 6th day, my door was pounded on. I jolted awake and opened the door to find one who was supposed to still be on vacation. Instinctively, I shifted to block the view of my half-packed luggage. Then I noticed one was dressed in a suit and tie, and his expression wasn't great either. I asked in surprise, "What are you doing here?"
My parents told me where my brother's grave is.
A cold wets broke out all over me.
You're coming with me. Typed the address into the car's GPS.
I pretended to follow the directions carefully. In truth, I knew the way to that cemetery by heart. The parents had very different expectations for their 2 sons, and the rift ran deep. So after they set up James's memorial, they kept it a strict secret from Ryan. It took me 2 years to find out, and after that, I went once a month, always alone.
Bro.
After that one word, he pressed his lips together and fell silent. Maybe he didn't want to show too much in front of an outsider like me. Fine by me. I just wanted one last quiet look at the face on that stone. My ticket back to my hometown was in 2 days. Who knew when I'd see this place again? We stood there in silence for what felt like forever. I guess Ryan finally finished saying everything he'd been holding in all these years. He let out a long breath.
Let's go.
I followed behind, turning my head for one last look, then another. Ryan's mood settled. Once he got back in the car, he reverted to that bossy, entitled attitude.
Why didn't you go to the island with the team? It's not like you're pretending to be magnanimous and breaking up just to spite some young girl, right?
Will gave a perfidious smile.
I mean, there's a generation gap. I don't exactly fit in with your crowd.
I'll give you one chance. Take back what you said.
Fine, no generation gap. I'm still young, you know.
He was so angry the veins bulged in his fists. He ordered me to stop in front of a residential complex. After sending a few messages, Vivian, at a home light, I casually picked up my phone, but the moment she saw a photo of herself on a Weigerver's Moments, her breath caught abruptly. Then days later, rumor about my SUNY-crowned Gwambune spreadly across the internet overnight. Photos of her at various business dinners were taken from subjective angles. Then the club announced the manager replacement. So here I am, coaching again. But right now, instead of lounging in my hometown rocking chair as planned,
Hey, Alex, I'm here.
That friend in your Moments photo, can you introduce me?
waiting at the agreed bus spot, I kept opening that Moments post. He looks rough and unkempt. But he looked exactly like James. I stared fixedly at the photo on my phone, restless and uneasy, with every second feeling like a year. The crunch of footsteps on snow came, and then Alex's hearty greeting.
Helena.
I looked up. My eyes, however, skipped right past my long-lost friend and landed on the person behind Alex. My ears rang, and I forgot to breathe. I stood there like a statue, unable to move or speak. My vision blurred, and it was Alex waving a hand in front of my face.
Hey, what's with you? Why did you suddenly stop talking?
I didn't hear him. Without blinking, I slowly stepped forward. He tilted his head, curious and confused by my stare. Then curiosity turned into shock, because I lunged forward and clung to him. I knew I should stay calm, be polite, say hello, make small talk, introduce myself, sit down and slowly find out why he'd been missing for so long. But I couldn't. The person I dreamed of for so long was right there. The wind I could never catch was now within reach.
James, I can't believe I'm seeing you again. I can't believe I'm seeing you again.
Are you someone who knew me from before?
Once I finally calmed down, embarrassment crept in. I hid my flushed face behind my coffee cup. You don't know me? Do you remember me at all? I asked hesitantly. Honestly, I never dared to hope James would remember me. I was just one of many who were drawn to his light and silently admired him from afar. But seeing his lost, guilty look, I couldn't help feeling bitter. You really don't remember me? Fair enough. I lowered my blushes. Can't force you to lie. I shook my head, pretending it didn't matter. It's okay. So you've been here all 6 years? Why didn't you go home or contact your family? Everyone thought you were gone.
There's something I should explain. I lost my memory. 6 years ago, Uncle Gru found me in the mountains while hunting, and he brought me back to the village.
Meeting my stunned gaze, he gave a gentle smile. I swallowed hard and gripped the cup handle.
So it's not just you. I haven't gotten back any memories from before these 6 years. Was our relationship something serious?
Amnesia. Your real name is James. I'm your girlfriend. With the skills I'd honed building a business and managing a team, I fabricated a story about me and James. I dressed up his kindness and my one-sided crush as a romantic college love story. If James ever got his memory back, I'd never be forgiven. But right then, I couldn't stop myself. How else could I have used his brother Ryan as a stand-in? I know I'm like this, and I don't even want to change. My red, swollen eyes welled up again. Honey, you said before, when I graduate from college, we'll get married. Even though your family objected, you said, I almost believed my own lies. Luckily, Ryan and I had never gone public, and Alex wasn't in the esports scene or a gossip, so no one could call me out.
So all those years you worked so hard in your career, this was part of it too.
Alex said, moved.
Man, she's had it rough all these years.
The information was overwhelming. His mouth moved, and his hands fidgeted with the coffee cup. My breath released. I knew Sam believed me.
I didn't know. I don't remember any of it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We can start over. Take it slow. Lying on the bed in my rented apartment, my heart still wouldn't stop racing. Holding my new phone, the only profile picture visible on this unfamiliar social app belongs to James. He seemed to hesitate before replying. We agreed immediately, a smile creeping onto my face without realizing it. Staring into spare for a while, again up at my old domestic. Been about a day since the rumors exploded. Unexpectedly, public opinion had easing heatedly from my favor, praising what durational scoring. Scrolling through social media, I opened that muted chat. Suddenly, the screen switched to an incoming voice call. I opened that muted chat. Suddenly, the screen switched to an incoming voice call. I jumped and accidentally hit accept. The other side seemed equally caught off back, silent for a long moment before speaking.
Helena.
I hesitated for a few seconds, then sat up and replied. It's me.
Where are you?
That's none of your business. Whether it's work or personal, we're not connected anymore.
No connection? You say we have no connection?
Take care of your hands. Grow up, Ryan.
You think I'm immature? Helene, I'm not a kid anymore.
He demanded.
Haven't you seen your own news online? The club's PR team is useless without you. You think it would have died down so fast if it weren't for me?
That I really didn't expect. Ryan didn't fan the flames. He actually put them out.
Then did you find out who was behind it?
At my question, he went silent again. Vivian must know by now that I'm really gone. She doesn't need to hate me anymore. I let out a silent, bitter laugh. That confirmed a lot of my suspicions. She seems to genuinely like you. I wish you the best in your future matches and your love life. Ryan tried to say something. Before he could get more than a few words out, I hung up and then blocked almost everyone connected to Ryan, as if I had no attachment left at all. After half an hour of relentless ringing, the door to the base villa finally opened. Vivian was about to smile, but behind the door was another team member, Charlie. He forced an awkward smile and said Ryan wasn't available today, suggesting she go home. Before he finished, Vivian barged right in. Ryan had ignored her for 3 days. Once inside, she saw the man she was looking for sitting in the middle of the training area with headphones on. His face was blank as he stared at the computer, not even lifting an eyelid. Vivian took several deep breaths, her perfectly made-up face twitching. Ryan, why haven't you been replying to my messages or answering my call? The room was silent except for the clicking of the keyboard and mic sofa. The woman's grip on her small leather bag tightened. She yanked off his headphones. She yelled. Vivian's family wasn't as wealthy as the Yee family, but she'd been pampered her whole life, and her family was close-knit. She'd never been cut off or known real hardship. She couldn't accept a man who was all sweet and loving one day and then gave her the silent treatment the next. After a few minutes, Ryan finished the round. He tossed the half-yanked headphones onto the table. He draped his arm over his gaming chair and finally looked up at Vivian. His expression was surprisingly cold. Vivian had the upper hand, but the moment their eyes met, her heart jolted. She could vaguely guess why Ryan's attitude had soured, but she refused to admit it. What's wrong with you? Playing cute was her specialty. What's wrong with you? Playing cute was her specialty. Her eyes instantly reddened.
Do I need to spell out what you did? I can't stand people who twist the truth and play dirty behind others' backs. Do you know how much effort the club put into shutting down those rumors? Can you afford to compensate for the reputation damage?
Being scolded like that in front of everyone. Even Vivian, eager as she was to please Ryan, couldn't save face.
I didn't do it on purpose. Can't I just understood? I was just afraid you were being kept in the dark.
His brow was deeply furrowed. Keep your mouth clean. With that, he turned to go upstairs. Burned. Vivian's voice cracked with tears.
Are you saying it's my fault Helena left?
I know maybe Helena left too suddenly, and you're having a hard time accepting it.
There's nothing to accept,
she said softly.
Fine, I forgive you this once.
Meanwhile, I carried my bag to Sam's auto shop and tried to naturally call out his nickname. James. He glanced at me, quickly finished up with a regular customer, then walked over. He still sat across from me a bit awkwardly. I unpacked what I'd brought. This is apple pie. I learned it from the landlady. This is apple pie. I learned it from the landlady. Try it. Under my expectant gaze, Sam took a bite and showed genuine surprise.
It's really good. Thanks.
I instantly relaxed, but it felt expected. After all these years, I'd filled several notebooks with everything I'd learned about James's preferences. Then I noticed a hint of guilt on his face.
Sorry. I've loved everything you've made for me this week. Is it because when we were together you remembered all my favorites? But...
It's okay. You didn't mean it. From now on, you'll slowly remember things about me. That's enough. The heat on my face could have been shyness, or it could have been self-loathing. The air was quiet for a moment. Suddenly, warmth covered my hand on the table. Sam gently held my hand. My heart paused for a beat, then started pounding. Flushed, I met his eyes. He looked nervous and unpracticed too.
I'll try my best.
Sam's job in the town was as a mechanic. Maybe the knowledge he'd learned was still buried in his subconscious, because he picked it up fast. Within a year or two, the old man who owned the garage had confidently handed the workshop over to him. I curled up on the couch with a blanket, watching him work. But my chest felt tighter and tighter. Even though Sam was skilled and got along well with the customers, I knew he belonged to the sky. He should be soaring through the sky, wild and free, not always covered in grease like this. But if I took him back to City A, back to the Yi family, my lies would be exposed. I'd finally found him, finally sort of had him. Avoiding reality, I drifted off with all these thoughts. In my dream, I saw James's comforting smile from college, then Ryan's defiant face when I took him to matches. All mixed up, time blurred. I was pushed awake in a daze, barely conscious. Looking at the blurry features in front of me, I mumbled, "Ryan, don't stay up so late."
What did you say?
My eyes snapped open. All sleepiness vanished. His eyes held undisguised confusion. He seemed not to have caught my nonsense. I pressed my temples, head aching. Nothing. I was just half asleep and disoriented.
You're all sweaty from sleeping.
My forehead was gently wiped. I stared blankly at Sam. His actions and tone were so natural. For several seconds I didn't move. Then I suddenly hooked my arms around his neck and hugged him. Sam stiffened for a moment, then quickly relaxed and patted my back. Much more intimate and at way than when we first met a week ago. I held him tight, as if confirming that this was real and what I truly felt. This is James. Helena. The real James is right here. Not an illusion, not a stand-in.
Hey, don't overdo it with your hands. Spring season is still a long way off. Don't wreck yourself when you're in good form. What stress could you possibly have lately? Now that the manager's gone, no one dares to tell you what to do.
The manager's gone. Like a dormant robot suddenly powered on, Ryan's eyes shot up. Realizing he might have said something he shouldn't have, the therapist awkwardly pressed his lips together.
Is Manager Lou out negotiating ads?
I guess they're out negotiating ads.
Mr. Ye, your medicine.
Chinese
And
then.
this.
The other, a cup of hot chocolate. What's this?
Then explain that he hated the bitter taste, and before, someone always prepared a hot drink to chase it.
Had stepped in it. She hadn't brought the wrong thing, nor said anything wrong. But every time before, Helena had been the one accompanying Ryan. She'd wait with hot chocolate, then smile and hand him something sweet after he grimaced through the medicine. But now, the liquid in the cup splashed. Ryan threw his head back and downed it in one go. He ground out,
I don't need this. Not now, not ever.
At 3 a.m., Ryan stood on the balcony smoking, an endless restlessness churning inside him. He reached into the pocket of the jacket he'd thrown on, then paused. He'd picked up the smoking habit as soon as it started. Helena had never approved. She nagged him endlessly to quit, and he'd actually listened and stayed off them for a long time. But now, even if he smoked 10 packs in one night, no one would come and shove a lollipop in his mouth, ready to throw the candy in the trash. His fingers clenched and unclenched. In the end, he put out the cigarette. Walking down the hall, he noticed the door across from his wasn't fully closed. Ryan glanced at the crack and paused. After standing for a few minutes, he slowly pushed the door open. The blanket on the bed was bunched up, rising and falling with steady breaths. This used to be Helena's room, but then the person sleeping turned over, and the moonlight clearly illuminated her face. It was Vivian, who had just moved in yesterday. Ryan stared at her in silence, gripping the doorknob so hard it nearly snapped. At 6 a.m., at the Yi family villa, Mr. Yi and Mrs. Yi sat on the couch with their arms crossed, frowning at their youngest son who had showed up unannounced. Dark circles were prominent under Ryan's eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept all night.
What are you doing here at this hour?
His father asked. Ryan stood ramrod straight.
I have something important to announce.
After a long moment, he slowly bent his knees. The man before them suddenly knelt down. His parents exchanged surprised glances. The last time Ryan came home, it was after winning the championship. He had confidence then. Even when he wanted to know where James's grave was, he was still defiant and refused to bow. Now, his eyes were low.
Dad, Mom, I've been selfish all these years. I'm sorry.
He spoke slowly, deliberately.
But there's someone I have to find, no matter what. Can you use your connections to help me?
On the other side, my hand froze on the order machine. I looked up and met a pair of smiling eyes. The man said,
1 apple cinnamon latte.
My eyes lit up, and I whispered in surprise, "What are you doing here?" Sam was dressed in a simple leather hoodie, clean cut and handsome.
Just checking on how your job is going. Just checking on how your job is going.
Half a month ago, to stop myself from clinging to Sam all day, I'd started as an apprentice at a town cafe. At first, I was distracted and anxious whenever we were apart, but gradually, I actually got used to the peaceful routine life. It almost felt like Sam and I had been living here together for a long time.
Oh, Sam!
The owner spotted him and greeted him warmly.
Here to pick up Helena?
He said, teasing but generous.
Off work, kid. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
I thanked him shyly, finished the coffee in my hand, and handed it to Sam. We bundled up and walked out into the night.
It's been a month and a half since you came here. How are you feeling? Most of my face was buried in my scarf, my voice muffled. No direct answer. Do you like it here? The 6 years you've spent? I rephrased. Sam paused, his gaze ahead as if lost in thought.
Waking up in a hospital, covered in wounds and with no memory, anyone would be a little broken. But every day since then, I've felt so at ease. A kind of ease I never had in the life I lost.
Is that why you never ask me about your past? Is that why you never ask me about your past?
I blurted out, looking at his profile. I regretted it immediately.
Maybe. But mostly I get the feeling you're carrying some burden, so I don't mind.
I couldn't help reaching up to brush them away, then let my fingers rest at the corner of his eye. There was a faint scar there, likely from debris when his plane went down. My heart felt like it was soaking in acid, heavy and bitter. So much so that I didn't notice the change in Tutu's gaze. By the time I realized, my scarf had already been gently pulled down. The man leaned down. His cool lips met mine. Pressed against my apartment door, my whole body still burned. What had just happened felt like it was on an endless loop in my head. I tried to pause it, but it wouldn't stop. Sam and I kissed. We were really dating now. Was this really not a dream?
Hello.
The cold wind rushed in and wrapped around me. My hanging hand clenched hard, nails digging painfully into my palm. This was definitely not a dream. I quickly composed myself.
Helena.
His tone was colder than the winter air.
Helena.
His tone was colder than the winter air, each word grinding out. Maybe it was the wind, but Ryan's eyes were red. But he still looked fierce. What are you doing here? My defensive stance was too obvious. Ryan's eyes flickered. He pressed his lips together and stayed silent for a long time. I looked down and saw his bare fingers were red and trembling from the cold. Fine, come in. After a moment's hesitation, I softened a little. I made tea to gather my thoughts and handed it to Ryan.
I sat down on the couch at a distance, watching him discreetly. Had he seen Sam? Probably not. The comfortable little world I'd woven for myself was suddenly invaded. What couldn't hide my unease and anxiety?
You left behind everyone in City A, your career, your life, just to come to this remote place.
My brow fuddled in displeasure. And what are you doing in this remote place? Eager to get rid of Ryan, who had showed up out of nowhere, I bursted out. Don't tell me you tracked me down to try to get me back? What is this? Coming all this way to beg for a reconciliation? My tone was light and teasing. Knowing Ryan's personality and pride, he'd storm off in anger, but to my surprise, he fell silent. A look I'd never seen before crossed his face. Heavy, complicated. His dark pupils bore into me. My smile frozen, then slowly faded. My heart started thumping fast, but I knew clearly, this was different from the fluttering I'd felt earlier.
Yes.
My pupils dilated in something close in panic. But after that word left his mouth, it was as if he'd finally admitted something to himself. His gaze grew more determined and clear.
I came here specifically to find you, Helena.
I regret it.
I'm the one who regrets it. You were right about everything. I'm too immature, too childish. It was all my stupidity. I was wrong. I mean it.
Tea sloshed onto his hand, but he didn't seem to notice.
From now on, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I'll change everything. I'll do whatever it takes to make it up to you.
My hand on the couch was taken. His young burning heat seared me and made my heart tremble.
Helena, please come back with me.
Ineda Dungwangwa noticed has slightly the thinner cheeks and the bloodshot eyes. My feelings were complicated. I refuse.
Ryan said 3 words, firm and resolute.
I don't believe you.
His grip on me was so tight it hurt.
You helped me so much back then. You worked so hard. I don't believe you can just let go like that. I don't believe you can just let go like that. Give me time and a chance. I'll make you trust me again.
Ryan left to go back to his hotel. I lay in bed, unable to sleep all night. At 7 a.m. the next day, I stood outside Sam's apartment. Before I could hesitate and knock, a man's voice came from behind me.
Helena,
He'd just come back from his run and looked surprised to see me here.
what's wrong? Is something urgent?
No, I just wanted to see you. The door closed. The man looked at me for a few seconds from inches away. Then he walked straight over, cupped my cold cheeks. I grabbed his wrists tightly, my lashes trembling. He murmured and laughed.
I wanted to see you too. I dreamed about you all night.
My heart pounded wildly, but mixed in were less pure emotions. Fear, guilt. My nose tingled, and I almost cried. I forced my features into a smile, but I knew with painful clarity I was walking on a tightrope, about to fall. Christmas Eve in this town was a bonfire party in the community square. To avoid running into Ryan, I stayed away from my apartment area all day, but I was still jumpy, every shadow a threat. Helping Sam set up in the square, I was often distracted. At one point, I reached right into the oven to grab a baking tray and burned most of my palm. Sitting in the clinic, I looked down at my heavily bandaged hand. Sam carefully noted down the doctor's instructions, then took my other hand to get the medicine. We came out at dusk.
Still spacing out? Were you even listening to the doctor?
I leaned into him and gave a half-hearted whine to brush it off. The party was about to start. We headed back to the square. Our joined hands never let go, passing warmth back and forth. Sam's voice, laced with a smile, reached my ears.
Don't touch that special mulled wine later. I'll get you a warm milk to hold instead.
The bonfire and the lively crowd in the square came into view. Sam, if one day you find out I've done something wrong or something that hurt you, what would you do?
I wouldn't do anything. As long as it's not a crime, I'd be on your side. After all, compared to my 6 years away and all the memories I lost, I'm probably the one who owes you more.
I listened to his words and only managed a weak smile after a long moment. You're so lenient with me.
Because I like you.
I practically threw myself at him, burying my whole face in the chest of his coat. He thought I was being shy and emotional, so he laughed and hugged me back. But I was fighting back the urge to cry. But Sam, the absence and the lost memories, I made all of that up. Your feelings for me, I made those up too. A fragile bubble I blew myself. I pulled back a little and looked up at his gentle gaze, forcing a smile. Sam, I really...
Bro!
A balloon popped somewhere in the square. I went rigid, watching helplessly as Sam looked toward the sound. His pupils contracted and he couldn't hide his shock. Footsteps approached and stopped 2 steps behind me.
Bro, is it really you?
The amnesiac Sam couldn't fully respond. He instinctively looked down at me. My face must have been ghostly pale. Yes. You have a younger brother, Ryan. I turned around and met the shocked, lost gaze of the man who had just arrived.
So that's why several people greeted me today, calling me Sam.
Suddenly, his gaze fell on our interlocked hands.
You two, you're dating. You used my brother as a stand.
His raised voice died in his throat. Ryan stared at Sam's face, then slowly shifted his gaze back to me. Then something dawned on him. It felt like a vacuum sealed around us, cutting off the party's laughter and noise. In the dead silence, I saw Ryan's bloodless lips move.
Everything you did for me. Was it all because of my brother? So I was the stand-in for my own brother?
Hey, Helena. Why are you alone? Where's Sam?
He had a visitor. He went to take care of it. The person was just making small talk and soon returned to the lively party. The scent of mulled wine and food lingered in the air, but my stomach cramped with pain. For the umpteenth time, I picked up my phone and stared at our chat. Since we'd been together all day, the screen still showed last night's sweet dreams. My fingers curled involuntarily. The panic from when Sam let go of me hadn't faded.
You go ahead. He and I will go talk.
I don't remember how I watched the two of them walk away. When I came to, I'd been staring into space in a corner of the square for a long time. I picked up a cup of mulled wine from the long table and downed it in one go. Warmth slowly seeped into my cold body. But my heart and mind still felt empty. Cup after cup, I mechanically tried to numb myself with alcohol. The burn on my hands sting, then started to swell and throb. The pain made tears well up in my eyes. At some point, I lost consciousness. I don't remember how the townspeople got me home. When I woke up again, my throat felt like it was being sliced, and my eyelids were so swollen I could barely open them. I pressed my pimples and sat up in bed. Then I realized, this wasn't my bedroom. The next second, the door opened. A man walked in carrying a bowl of fish conge. I stared blankly as he sat down in the chair by the bed. He acted as if nothing had happened, patiently feeding me with a spoon. I didn't know what to say, so I accepted it in silence. After eating most of it, I raised a hand to stop him and noticed the wound had been rebanded with fresh gauze. It didn't hurt anymore, but I still wanted to cry. Sam, he finally looked into my eyes for the first time since entering. His eyes were murky, hiding many complicated emotions. I didn't dare to pursue them.
You want your hands taken away? Drinking all that behind my back the second I stop watching you?
What did you two talk about yesterday?
A lot. About myself, about the family, about my relationship with you, and yours with Ryan.
The weight I'd been carrying seemed to crash down completely.